Greetings. Guten
How's it
Tag.
going? Guten Tag. Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
I'm just eating some Chipotle.
Hey, it's always a good day for Chipotle.
Been a while. Tastes pretty good. What you up to?
Finished watching some TV. Ate some Caesar salad for dinner. Now I'm about to pour myself a drink.
Excellent. Anything good on the old TV waves streaming through the antenna?
We're watching Witcher right now.
Oh, which season?
We're in season 2 right now. We're just about to finish season 2. Oh, we just finished it. Just being corrected. So
I think that's where I stopped watching that show, to be fair.
Yep. There he is.
I've been here for like five minutes, bro.
That's a lie.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Got him.
Let me change our background here for 1 second.
Good thing we can see Josh.
Just go blue today.
Be ready.
Maresco, do you feel bad at all that your team put up a ton of points this week?
Nah, it's
Worried that it was the spike too soon?
Nah, it's a weekly thing they do, so I'm not too worried about it.
What did you guys think about the matchups this past week? Any surprises?
I mean, the Dan matchup might have been the craziest matchup I've ever seen.
I think,
yeah.
I mean, we don't have to get too in depth if we don't want to, but I feel very, very bad for Matt, honestly, at the current time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I also think it is absolutely absurd that Dan's defense got 6 points off of a blocked punt and a blocked extra point attempt. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't end up watching any of the game. I was asleep, but I saw some of the highlights, dude. It's pretty crazy.
I was driving home. I caught the last like 5 minutes of it and just turned on the matchup and just watched it go back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like watching a game inside of a game.
And then Ritter screwing everyone over.
And Ryan called it right before it happened. That was the worst part of it.
Do you guys think that rule needs to change? The scoring rule, the 3-point scoring rule for blocked kicks?
What do you think it should change to?
It's a pretty big play.
I don't think you should ever be able to score more than what the opponent can score on that play. So, like a point after attempt, if you, like to David's point earlier in the season when it happened, I don't know if it was against him or for him or what, but if you block a point after attempt, if the defense picks it up and returns it, the defense gets 2 points. If all the defense does is blocks it in our league, they get 3 points. That seems weird to me, personally.
Is this the first time we feel like it's kind of come up?
I think this is the first year that it's happened multiple times throughout the year. I don't know if there haven't been as many block kicks or we just haven't noticed it before. I don't know. But it sounds like you guys don't feel like it needs to change.
No, I mean, I guess it just, if we're going to change something, it'd be good to like kind of have the full picture. You know what I mean? So that's where my hesitancy is. So, but yeah.
Fair. I think it's ridiculous.
I think Clark thinks it's ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous. I think it's absurd. I'd be fuming if I was Matt. I'm fuming on behalf of Matt, if I'm honest.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a painful way to. I mean, his season's not. Well, I mean, it's over. right? He's playing for fourth place, I guess.
He gets
Yeah.
a bye into the fourth place game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter too much, honestly. It's consolation
Right.
bracket. I don't think there's a reward for it.
Right.
No, he gets a bye into the fifth place game, doesn't he?
Fourth will be whoever loses. So the semifinals losers will go into third, fourth. Yeah.
So, would you rather miss the playoffs or get into the playoffs and experience a heartbreak loss in the first round?
I feel like getting to the playoffs is always better. I mean, that's a good question for you, Josh. Like, would you rather be in Matt's shoes right now or have your season end the way it did?
I mean, to be honest with you, I would probably rather not make the playoffs. I just feel like it's a brutal way to have your season end like that. I don't know. It's a lot of heartbreak.
It's tough. I mean, in one sense, you can also look across and be like, well, he would have lost to Ryan straight up, right? Would have lost to Moresco straight up. And at some point, like, fantasy is about putting up points, and even when it's close, if you don't, you don't. So, I
Right.
don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if it's better or worse that he went to bed being in the lead with Aaron Jones and Myers versus the Atlanta defense and woke up to a loss, or if he had to agonize through the whole thing. But
Yeah. Yeah, his text just like I woke up and I saw a bunch of text messages and he was like, it's probably not a good thing. Poor Matt. He's a good sport. But yeah.
Clark, would you rather be in the playoffs
would I rather be in the playoffs right now? No.
lose like that and lose like that?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I'd rather make the playoffs no matter what.
100%.
But who knows? Might not be the strategy. Josh's strategy is to
Win
sneak
$10
into
of
the
auction drop.
exactly. That's what Josh was doing this whole time.
Yeah. I think for me, I mean, with that response, the way that my season kind of like ended, I was like, no, I did not deserve to be in the playoffs. So I still very much so strongly feel that way. So I think my response is sort of still fueled based off of that. If it makes sense. So
that's fair. How about these other matchups? Because this is the only thing we really have to cover today. Weggy gets past Hannah.
He got lucky, in my opinion.
You think?
Yeah, DK Metcalf had a bad game.
DK's had a lot of bad games.
Tyreek also had a terrible game, which is par for the course. But I think the biggest difference was honestly Darnold.
Yeah. Darnold didn't really show up.
Decided not to show up during playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, we warned her about Sam Darnold. She should have stuck with Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence? You should have started Trevor Lawrence this week.
Actually, I have no idea what Trevor put up this week. Oh, wait,
he's not playing.
Started Mac Jones. Mac Jones instead.
Yeah.
I think Weggy is in one, to your point, Josh. Like, I think he got lucky in the sense that he wasn't playing any other team, and Hannah's team could have put up a lot more points. So I think he's grateful he got through. But I also think like Weggy's team didn't necessarily play out the same way it has been the last 10 weeks now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been luckier to have played Jonesy, but
it's true. Yeah, that was a rough one. If we almost doubling up Jonesy's score in the quarterfinal.
How many points did Love put up?
On the bench?
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. Jonesy texted me the night before. It's like, I think I'm going to go Jameis over Jordan.
It was an interesting move.
It's like, oh, boy. Told him it was boom or bust, and it was a bust.
I'm waiting to have the conversation with him about this because he texted me as well, kind of said something similar. And I definitely had the thought of like, you made this big trade for Jordan Love. Like, I feel like you have to kind of like, at this point, ride it out with him and just sort of take what comes. But no.
I mean, to be fair, he still would have lost by 50 points, but
But he should have started Jordan Love in principle.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, I think if you look at it, like he sent me something about the Chiefs secondary being weak or something, but I was like, I don't think they are, especially against Jameis Winston. He's going to throw 4 picks. They threw 3.
I mean, worth
Yeah.
pointing out, Ryan's team played very well, but all his players had pretty favorable matchups, I would say. I don't know what his this upcoming week looks like for him, but
Yeah. I was surprised about Lamar, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a Derrick Henry game. But
yeah, Derek didn't do anything this week, which is kind of nice to see.
didn't do anything. It's good to see that he didn't do anything.
Well, he's saving it all for next week.
Let's see. You didn't have a matchup, so we've got to
probably be colder next week. He loves cold.
Who do that? Well, I guess we'll get into whatchamacallit here soon. The only other one we already talked about Dan. All right, that's good. Good for wrap ups. Anything else you guys want to cover up here in terms of people's seasons coming to an end?
I would just say I was pretty excited to see Dave lose to Mitch. It's pretty cool.
You're pretty excited to see that after talking shit about Mitch's team all year?
Yeah.
What do you think about Mitch's team now?
I mean, it's still shitty, but
I would love. I don't want to lose to Mitch, but it would be hilarious for Mitch to win, and Josh and Mitch end up being against each other in the Constellation Bowl, and Josh lose to Mitch.
It's fine. It's whatever.
Who are you guys playing?
I wouldn't lose.
You're playing Mitch, Clark?
I play Mitch, and Ben plays Josh, I think.
Okay. Yep. Man, you got lucky there, Clark.
Micah had nothing to do with it. It's fantasy. It's fantasy.
Micah then Mitch.
I'm just playing the opponent in front of me.
I was laughing at yours and Micah's matchup, bro.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, it feels like a little bit of luck going my way, although Montgomery's out for the year now. Kenneth Walker is potentially not playing, and Bucky is potentially not playing. So all my starting running backs last week and this week might not even be playing football anymore. So Mitch might beat me, legitimately.
Dang. Yep. So it's going to be Dave, Micah, and Natalie playing for the toilet bowl, right? Yeah.
Yeah. 2 hinders in contention, Josh.
2 hinders.
2 hinders and a dean.
Do you guys feel like the best teams are left?
I think
Moresco, Dan, Weggy, Ryan.
I think Matt's team is better than Ryan's. Dan's, but now it might come back to bite me after this week. I'll be honest. I was happy. Yeah. I was happier that Dan beat Matt. I'd rather play Dan's team than Matt's team.
Oh, for sure. You don't want to face that stack.
No.
Well, and actually, I guess we can.
But Dan's team has been overperforming.
Yep.
Dan has some. Yeah, I mean, Atlanta. Both your defenses could go a little crazy this week, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, he has a good one. He has a very good one. Oh, well.
Dave makes a good point. Straight seeds are what remain.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess technically the top 4 teams are left. Yeah, he has some favorable matchups there. I have some favorable matchups, but who knows what's going to happen.
How do you feel about Baltimore versus Pittsburgh? That could be like the crux of your game.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin has Lamar's number.
Derek's number? Lamar, I mean, yeah, that's tricky for Ryan, but
yeah, he only put up 10 points against him earlier this year, so it's not a good sign. But I think
I mean, we don't have to get into predictions yet, I guess.
I think Jaden's due for a big game, and he's playing New Orleans, which is nice. And then, I mean, Josh Allen playing New England is very nice. So,
Oh, you're Jaden. I thought you were talking about Jaden Daniels. I was like, what?
Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
And then Washington playing Philadelphia is a tough matchup. So,
Yeah. A couple divisional matchups that might end up deciding things here.
yeah.
Chicago played Detroit really well last time as well. Although I think Amon-Ra still had a really good game, so it might not matter.
I'm trying to remember what he put up that game.
Maresca, do you think
Really put
like
up
with
9.
all 9? You think with all the injuries that the Lions have sustained, a lot of people are predicting that they're just not going to be able to go far. Some people are predicting that the Packers could make a run. How do you feel about that?
I think the Lions are a very good football team. But yeah, I think, I mean, if you listen to any of Amon-Ra's clips, like from his podcast, he said he didn't want to play the Packers in the playoffs over the Vikings. Like, he'd rather play the Vikings over the Packers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the Packers are getting hot at the right time. They always can do it. They have a good team, so I don't know.
Would you rather win a fantasy title or the Packers win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Packers win the Super Bowl.
Mm. He's got 3.
I've tasted glory. It's time for my team to taste glory.
It makes me want to root against the Packers so bad.
I would love to see the Packers win the Super Bowl, but I don't. I mean, I think the Lions offense is good enough to outplay most teams. I mean, they didn't obviously outplay the Bills this week, but the Bills have similar problems on their defense, so they're just not good.
Are the Lions supposed to not get healthy at all for the remainder of the year? Like, they're not going to get back to 100%. I guess they've lost Monty. It's good for you, Josh, potentially. But they have a lot of
Is
defensive
Monty
injuries.
out for the year?
Yeah, I think he's having surgery or something.
Yep. I saw between IR, the pup, and I don't know. They've been decimated by injuries, especially their defense. And it's like not just like secondary, it's like all like first team defensive players.
Yeah.
So it's brutal.
They could be in trouble, like especially if they're trying to make a deep run.
Yeah, I mean, I think they ran into it on Sunday, right? Like they scored a bunch of points, but the Bills ended up just scoring more. So there's obviously more to it, but
I think the football.
I think Hutchinson's out for the year unless they make the Super Bowl, which I doubt he would come back for one game. But I think their secondary just got decimated.
Yeah, Montgomery is seeking a third opinion on his MCL sprain.
Third?
Yeah.
The man does not want to be shut down.
He's in my IR spot. I don't think he's moving from there.
He's a keeper, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know. This might change whether or not I keep him. I feel like the knee injuries can sometimes be a non-issue. It can sometimes be really difficult to come back from.
This could be the time Gibbs takes over completely and Josh keeps him for $80 next year.
Ooh.
He won't be $80 next year.
What did you pay for him this year?
52.
So
he'll be 60 or 70.
He'll be mid-60s.
Interesting.
This sounds like Josh is planning on keeping Jahmyr Gibbs, folks. You heard it here first.
Speaking of which, actually, Josh's team. Didn't you guys make some form of fab bet as to whether or not Josh would make it into the playoffs? Like 3 weeks ago?
We made some type of bet.
I think you bet like $20 that Josh would not drop out of the playoffs. As an aside.
20 fab or 20 just regular?
Fab, I'm pretty sure. We'll have to find it. I don't know if it matters to you guys at this point. Maresco probably matters to you. You're looking.
No, it doesn't. I'll make a deal with Josh that I don't owe him a bottle of whiskey if he wants to negate the $20 fab. We wipe all bets clear.
Sure. Yeah,
no coin, no whiskey, no fab.
No coin. Oh, you can't give up on that.
Nah, we need the coin still. And I'll buy you a bottle of whiskey.
We do need the coin.
I don't really care about the fab.
We're
I still have
back
like
at square one either way.
yeah. If it was like real money, I thought it was real money for some reason. Because Josh, did you have Fab still? For some reason, I thought Josh didn't have Fab.
I think you guys both have Fab. You both had very close to the same amount of Fab.
Oh yeah, we do.
When you made the bet, it was like 43 and 42 or something like that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's get back to a little bit of actual fantasy matchup talk. So let's go through the semifinals, starting with the Ryan Weggy matchup. Josh, what's kind of your take on this? Who do you like? Anyone you think is a potential dark horse or could decide the matchup? Key takeaways.
Yeah, I mean, I think Weggy is the underdog here. And I think it's kind of interesting that you got the two really good rushing QBs. So you got Lamar and Hurts. And then you got Tyreek and CD. And I feel like both CD and Tyreek, probably, for different reasons, have underperformed somewhat this season. I think CD had a good week last week, but overall, been kind of disappointing to certain degrees. So I think it's going to come down to those four players. I think who ends up having better weeks. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Sure.
How did Lamar play against Pittsburgh? Oh, he didn't play good.
No, he played very poorly. That was what Josh was saying earlier.
Yep. That's what. Yeah.
It's a tough matchup.
Yep.
And didn't Kamara leave the game injured last week?
He did, and I think he's gonna. There's talk about him missing.
Yeah.
So that could play a factor.
But he has 6 running backs on the bench, doesn't he?
Yeah, Ryan's very deep. I mean,
I know
Ryan
Dobbins is on the IR, but yeah, he has wide receiver.
He traded Chubb away.
He has Pickens. That's a flex option.
Yeah, he's got options.
No, I think the thing is, I feel for like Waggy. Tyreek's been disappointing all year, and he's won 10 in a row. So,
why do you feel for Weggy?
No, I feel like I don't feel for Waggy, but I'm rooting for Waggy. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys.
You feel?
I was going to say you like the idea of.
I have feelings for Waggy.
Yikes!
Don't tell him.
Hold up, say that again so we can get another soundbite.
You got the soundbite. New hit. I think obviously the projections are in Ryan's favors, but I just don't think you can count Kevin out. So I don't know if it's going to come down to Hurts and Hill versus Lamb and Jackson. I think it comes down to some of his other players, like Mark Andrews could outperform his projections by a lot, right? Chase Brown's been a beast all year. Kyron's hit or miss, right? So it just comes down. They both have stellar running backs, and we'll see. I think it might come down to that Pittsburgh matchup for Lamar if he doesn't put up points. Because if you look at Ryan's team, he had 40 points from that, 150 points. So,
what if James Conner he had a good week last week. Was he the RB1 last week? I think he might have been.
Was he?
They're playing Carolina.
And he's playing Carolina. What if James Conner comes through again?
He's a playoff fantasy god.
Could have like a 3-touchdown week.
That man saved my season last year.
I think it's interesting to see that this matchup, and I think some in yours as well, Moresco, could come down to division rivalry games where obviously the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game and the Cleveland-Cincinnati game, I feel like sometimes division rivalries are slugfests and there's not a lot of scoring, and sometimes they end up being kind of shootouts. So I kind of feel like this one might come down to game script on what happens in those matchups.
Yeah. I'd like to point out that Adam Thielen is playing James Conner this week, and that was what the trade was last year, Joshua.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's see who plays better this week.
Painful.
See, are they gonna put any bench players in here? I guess only Pollard against Indianapolis is interesting. And Pickens, I guess that they've got options. Josh, this is your original team, right? Or is this an expansion team? Or were you technically an expansion team?
This was originally my team.
So if you were Weggy, would you start this lineup or do you make any changes?
Yeah, I mean, I think you ride with what he's got out there. I think Pollard's a little beat up. So,
He didn't
yeah.
practice today.
Yeah, he didn't practice. So, I think you ride with the lineup he's got.
Fair. Well, we shall
Look
see
to
what
point out that
happens.
Wakey only has 2 defenses on his team right now.
Only 2? Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
He only needs 2 more weeks of play, right? I guess he's just filling up other spots.
I mean, he said defense wins championships, so you think he would keep him.
Who does Philly play next week? Dallas? Yeah, he's starting Philly next week would be my guess.
Detroit's playing Chicago. It'll be interesting to see. Chicago's kind of sucking right now, though.
We'll see. I mean, the Chicago-Detroit game was close last time around. I don't know how
Yeah.
beat up the Detroit defense was at the time, but they only put up 12 points against Chicago a few weeks ago.
It is an interesting start with all the injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But swinging over to the other semifinal, the one that actually has Dan currently projected to win.
Wow.
Does indeed.
I mean, I feel like this game comes down to your big 4. I know you said Jaden's probably due for a big game for you, but I feel like your Allen, Sun God, Derek, and maybe Zay are kind of the deciding factors here.
I mean, Johnny's been tight end 1 for the last 5 weeks too.
Yeah,
So
Johnny's been so stupid. I don't like it at all.
I think, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. It's probably going to come down to the quarterbacks, right? Like, Allen's been playing out of his mind the past 2 weeks. He's put up an insane amount of points. Jaden's been pretty good. But, like, you know, it comes down to these Russian QBs, man. Like, they just they're a big deal.
I think this matchup could easily go all the way to Monday night, though, and be Jacobs versus Reed. So
for sure,
Mm-hmm.
can see that.
And Jacobs is insane right now, so I hope that doesn't happen.
You think that Josh Allen slows down at any point the remainder of our fantasy season, or you think this is going to be the norm for the next few weeks?
I think it's the norm.
I mean, they're pushing. They want the conference, right? So they're not like giving up on anything.
Yeah. I will say one thing I was just noticing too. I think it could definitely come down to the tight end. The tight end position could play a factor this week as well. Hunter Henry versus Jonnu. Jonnu's I think been the tight end 1 since week 6.
That's what Maresco just said.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if it's been since week 6.
It's been since he came back from the IR.
Yeah, Brock Bowers has been up there for a while, but Bowers has had a few down weeks, and Jonnu's been pretty filthy the last at least 4 weeks.
Do you like his Hunter Henry start over Zach Ertz?
I think Zach Ertz.
Is Zach Ertz hurt?
He didn't practice today, but he's questionable.
No, I mean, no, I don't. Because volume is king. Ertz gets volume. So assuming he's healthy, I would roll with Ertz. But
I do think there's a question to be made here, though. Do you think Dan should go back to his true emotional allegiance and ride with Kirk Cousins at some point?
The guy who just got benched?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
you got to give him another shot.
I think you should start him this week.
At some point, you got to, like, loyalty is more important than just winning football games, right?
Why do you hate him so much?
He just got benched. I feel like that justifies my entire argument about why I dislike Kirk Cousins.
No, but I just feel like you brought him up because you just wanted to kind of gloat in
Yeah,
his benching.
100%. Is there anything wrong with that? Were you rooting for Kirk Cousins, Josh? Did you want Kirk Cousins to do better
Yeah, I
this
mean,
year?
I think he's a good guy. He does all the
That's
right
fine.
things.
He doesn't do all the right things. He throws a lot of interceptions. He doesn't show up when he needs to. Doesn't really look very mobile these days. I think he does all the right things off the field. His agent does all the right things, 100%. He gets paid. I mean, no knock against
Yeah,
his ability
for
to earn
sure.
money, but his ability
Yeah.
to produce on the football field, I do have issues with.
Yeah, I mean, the difference between him and Rodgers is I think uh his what is it? His plant he tore his plant foot, right? I
Oh,
think
did he?
Kirk Yeah, I think so. Kirk did. So I think that's
Do you think
certainly
it was a
played a factor.
justified benching in the thick of a playoff race?
And they're not going to beat out the Bucks, right?
Only one game back.
I think yes and no. Yes and no. I think it's difficult because teams have very little patience these days. I wonder if Atlanta should have just bit the bullet and said, "Let's just ride it out with Kirk."
Yeah.
At least for
Let
this year, you'd think, right?
Yeah, this year. That's what I'm saying, man. Like you invest all that money. Like I know he's not playing great, but like just
I predict he takes over at halftime.
And he comes
really.
back.
Yeah.
They said Penix apparently is
That's
the
why
starter for the rest of the season.
I think Dan should start him, but
He comes back at halftime and has the half of his life.
just saying. My bold prediction, Kirk Cousins outperforms Jaden Daniels this week.
I wonder what Daniel thinks about this.
He's probably
I
sad.
guarantee you, Kirk Cousins will outperform Jaden Daniels in the money-making category this week.
Yeah, for sure.
That is true. That is true. But yeah, I mean, the projection is 0.5 points away or something. So
Yeah, it's supposed to be close. Although Josh Allen, I don't even know why his projections are under 30 points these days. Like, he hasn't scored, I guess, Kansas City, but he should be much higher at this point.
What do you think he's going to go for next season in our league?
Too much. Honestly, Maresco, would you consider keeping him? What did you get him for?
30 or something.
like 28 or something. 27.
See, that sounds so high for a QB, but it makes sense when it comes to Josh Allen right now.
Yeah, I spent like 23 or 24 on Lamar last year, and everyone was freaking out. Just a couple. There's a couple fantasy quarterbacks that are worth spending on, in my opinion. But
Yeah, yeah, clearly.
Other matchups we have, this is the consolation to get into the fifth place game, so it doesn't matter that much. Hannah versus Jonesy. I feel like we've seen that matchup a couple times this week, or this year rather. And then I guess Dave will have to send out the specifics, right? But it'll be Mitch and I playing each other to go into the consolation bracket final, or the eighth place final, I guess. And then Josh and Ben playing each other. But the real interesting bit being Natalie, Micah, and Dave all slugging it out to not be the lowest two going to the toilet bowl. Do you guys have any predictions there on who you think will end up in the toilet bowl this year?
That's a tough one. I'd like to see Dave in the toilet bowl.
so right now, Dave's projected 101.
We'll bring this back.
Natalie is projected
Picker Wheel had Natalie in the toilet bowl, and Maresco
80,
had Micah.
80 points, and she has a kicker that's no longer active.
Yeah, is Natalie going to start a team this week?
I mean, yeah, she has Jonathan Taylor on a bench. I mean, if she subs and Taylor Nico picks up a kicker, her team is pretty solid.
I think I think it's probably going to end up being Natalie and Micah in the toilet bowl.
Interesting.
That's my prediction right now.
So Dave's team on the flip side, you're saying is going to make it out.
He is. I hope he doesn't, but he probably is.
This is who he's rolling with at the moment, with Aubrey and the Tampa Bay defense against Dallas.
I hope his entire roster decides to just kind of take a week off.
But he's starting as the kicker against the defense?
Yeah. I guess he's hoping that's the only part that scores.
Interesting.
I mean, what are you going to do? Start Houston against Kansas City?
Yeah,
Kansas City hasn't scored over 30 points this year, so.
Yeah. I think that could be actually an interesting start.
But yeah, I kind of agree with Josh. I think if Nat updates her team, she has a chance of beating Dave. I think it's a lock that Mike is in there. The other two are
Funny
up in
would
the
it
air.
be if Mike is the one that ends up making it out?
Oh, good for him if he does. But after last week, you just can't pick him. You know, you just can't ride Mike right now.
Been ridden too much.
Ride Micah.
I'm
gonna ride Micah.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Don't even bother trying to send me trades next year. I'm gonna immediately I won't even look at them.
Did Micah trade more than anyone else in the league this year?
Do you think Micah does the punishment before he loses again this year?
Yeah, it's
Micah's
possible.
going to be in Denny's for the toilet bowl.
It'll be interesting. So whoever wins that top scoring is done for the season, right?
Yeah, they're just out.
Yeah.
Same with the losers of the consolation bracket game. So if I lose, or if Ben loses, or Josh, or Mitch, your season's just over. I guess you're still technically maybe vying for placement, but I don't know if it matters that much.
Not playing for 10th place. Come on.
Didn't we have the picker wheel go last week? Do you remember who it chose for these things?
No, because we don't do it during playoffs.
Yeah, we don't do it during playoffs.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure we ran the picker wheel last week.
We just did the picker wheel to pick who was going to be in the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Fab. I'm saying who did the picker wheel say was going to be? I'll find out.
I picked
Josh,
Micah.
sorry,
I'm pretty sure. I
something.
think I picked Micah for the toilet bowl loser. And I picked Dan for the winner, I think.
It's pretty accurate.
Dan or Hannah for the winner. Or maybe it was Kevin.
Could have been. Ooh, I like it.
Oh, you already had him in there. Nice.
That's right. I prepped this one bit.
Nice.
So this is to win the championship,
Dan.
according to the picker wheel.
Whoa.
And we all know that if the picker wheel chooses you, there's about a 0% no, it can't be Josh. Toilet bowl loser. This is to take home all the punishments.
Oh, it's Mitch.
Oh,
yep,
wow.
that sounds about right.
Picker wheel might be right on it.
That's funny.
Good job, Mitch. Avoiding the toilet bowl. Probably be there next year, though.
Yeah, but it does still have Dan alive. Picker wheel still has Dan through the first week.
What if Mitch just decides to keep his Bears core? It's like, let's ride it back one more year.
Do you think the Bears are that far away from being a good team?
No. I think they're really far away.
I think if they hired the right coach, they'd be okay. But I don't think Caleb Williams is the answer. think if they had hired Jim Harbaugh in the offseason, like he wanted to go there, that would have been a lot better.
Harbaugh has to be happy about going to the Chargers. I feel like though
Now, yeah, but
the pairing with Herbert, it's just it's a good one.
It's kind of crazy. Do you think if Harbaugh had gone to Chicago, Chicago would be more of like what we see in LA now? It's like a run heavy game and just use Herbert occasionally.
No, I think it would be different. I think the Bears would be better than they've been, but I don't think they would be what the Chargers have been. It's just my opinion, but I think they probably should have used the pick they used on Odunze. They probably should have used on like an offensive lineman.
Mm. Well, especially with having Keenan and DJ already at that point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Keenan's old. She's kind of thinking about the future, but I don't know. Like, could have picked. I feel like there's some later round wide receivers that they could have probably drafted or acquired. So
Yeah, fair. Well, we'll have to wait and see next year. We'll have to wait and see if Mitch decides to run it back with any of the Bears on its current squad.
kind of hope he does. I would enjoy that.
Moresco, as the only surviving member on the call and many in the league, still in the playoffs. Any closing words?
best of luck to everyone besides the name of Dan and Ryan. And hope everyone has a happy holidays.
Yeah, I guess we probably won't do a two-timers next week.
Yeah, Clark, you're traveling, right?
Yeah, I'll be out. Do you guys got any big holiday plans?
Staying home. Excited about that.
Nice.
Not celebrating Christmas this year. No, I'm just kidding. Not doing much. Staying home too.
Making the switch over to Hanukkah this time, I see.
We'll be live Christmas Eve, folks. See you at 7:30.